Good morning, beloveds. I got this. All right. We're doing your spiritual power, but let's do the housekeeping first. The housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. Website, nope, already said that. Hang on. If you will email that email, it'll get you one email a week unless something unusual happens, which is usually weather related. We live on the Gulf Coast. Tells you what's going on for the week, the month, and the hot links are hot. So if it says click here now, it means it. Also, it is a blind CC, which means nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. Hello, Dante. You decided to make it cam me out today? So, yeah, please feel free to join the email list. Now, I mentioned the social media merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize it. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to go engage with the pages, like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on, and then engage with the individual posts by reacting to the post, commenting on the post, sharing the posts. It bumps us in the algorithms, more people see our stuff, and that is the goal of social media. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center and or Creative Life Spark, and I am the running Rev Ryan across all the social medias that I am on. And Dante is back. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. I wish you could hear his purr. I wish you could also see the whole cat, because he's massive. And he's not even a year old yet. Like, when we got him and saw his paws, we were like, ooh, he's going to be big. But he's a love bug, so we love him. All right. So now let's move on into your spiritual power, which we are really close to finishing up. You have got to stop distracting me. You have got to stop distracting me. So this is a collection of Ernest Holmes writings, says so right here. Or Reverend Norm would call it a library of his more rare works, stuff you might not find anywhere else. We happen to be working our way through Think Your Troubles Away. I believe that's what we're doing. Yes, Think Your Troubles Away, which is a collection of his Science of Mind articles. Turns out 3 of the books in here, Think Your Troubles Away, Living Without Fear, and Discover a Richer Life, that's what they are. They're collections of his Science of Mind articles, which means they have a slightly different tone, which I very much enjoyed. They're more one-on-one, like he's talking directly to you. So we are in part 3, Thoughts Are Things. And the article, do you want to wear my glasses? Do you want to wear my glasses? Part 3, Thoughts Are Things. And our article today is You Live Your Ideas. So, now I have to figure out how to do this around the cat. Okay, you live your ideas. When a person compares themselves to others, they are prone to create within themselves either a superiority or an inferiority complex. But when they identify themselves with the universal and all selves with the universal, there comes a sense of unity with the whole, and they feel themselves to be neither superior nor inferior. They see themselves and all creation as some part of God. Okay. In this identification of the individual life with the universal that produces a true It is this identification of the individual life with the universal that produces a true humanity. Righteousness and virtue cannot compare themselves with unrighteousness and vice. The spirit knows itself through self-recognition. The devil is unknown to the great God. God is positive. Evil is the denial of good. No, good is positive. Evil is the denial of this good. The two do not meet. We should learn to identify the self We should learn to identify the self with its source, and this is the true office of prayer. Cause and effect are inseparable partners, and when the self identifies itself with the law of love and wholeness through the spiritual mind treatment, a corresponding effect in the outer life follows. This effect is the answer to prayer. Jesus called it a sign following those who believe. Okay, that's kind of an interesting, interesting paragraph. I'm going to have to go think about that one. A spiritual mind treatment or prayer should not be a petition. It should be a recognition. Most of our prayers are petitions, unconscious admission that the soul is still passing through the travail of birth. We are not yet completely born into a consciousness of the heavenly kingdom. So we pray that God will make the crops good, that it will cause the rain to fall, that they will save the soul of some sinner. But whenever anything is wrought by prayer, we shall find affirmation and belief, more affirmation than negation. God cannot work by negation. Okay. All right. I feel like I left something out in that sentence, so let me go back and look at, but whenever anything is wrought by prayer, we shall, okay. Great religions are sustained by their affirmations, and according to the universality of such affirmations, they live and prosper. When the disciples of Jesus asked him to teach them how to pray, he answered, "After this manner, therefore, pray ye." And he taught them a prayer of affirmation. The method Jesus used was recognition, identification, unification, and then authority. And if that doesn't sound familiar, you have not been paying attention to the way science of mind teaches treatment. He recognized a presence and a power greater than the human mind, but he did not recognize this power as separated from, or apart from the human mind. He placed it in the human mind. Our Father, which art in heaven. And he said that the kingdom of heaven is within. Jesus recognized the immediate presence and availability of good, and he relied on this good in every emergency. And honestly, I was just reading a Jim Palmer article, and I'd like to go back and see the original, what was the original translation? Did it really say Our Father? Or, did it say something else and it got translated into Father? I'm curious now. But that's because, like I said, I was reading a Jim Palmer article. And it was about Mary. So, All right. All the great souls have sensed. Okay, wait. Immediate presence. And he said that the kingdom of heaven is within. Jesus recognized the immediate presence and availability of good, and he relied on this good in every emergency. All right. All great souls have sensed that the universal spirit is greater than the human mind. But they have also known that this divine presence is one with the human mind, which is kind of important. The kingdom of heaven is within. God is in its kingdom. The access to this kingdom is immediate, and it will spontaneously flow through every person's consciousness. Prayer, an act of the mind, is a recognition of the divine presence as universal life, energy, power, intelligence, and substance responding to us. We need not feel that we must encompass the infinite, for if we could encompass it, we would exhaust the infinite's resources, and being immortal, we should be condemned to an eternity of boredom. Okay. The infinite will always remain the infinite, but it will always be revealing itself to us in the ever-widening circles of experience. I don't know if I'm struggling to pay attention today or if he's just being a little spontaneous today. I mean, I am being distracted by a cat, so that's not helping. All right. Through recognition and unification with divine intelligence, the mind is directed. It comes to understand that the specific laws of nature are relative to any definite thing. The person of science is symbolically on their knees, listening greatly to the inner self, for it is through this individual self that we reach the universal self. Those who have wrought marvelous things by prayer have been those who can stand still and listen. We talk at God too much and seldom reach a place where we can relax long enough to let this great self speak to us. And he said not to. Notice he didn't say we don't talk to God too much. We talk at God too much. And there is a difference. There is a difference. God cannot listen to that which is contrary to the divine nature. A prayer should be a mental and physical state of acceptance in the individual mind. Where is the darkness when the light enters? Where is the lie when the truth is told? It is not, or it is as though it never were. It was only a supposition. The world has yet to understand that there is a great difference between a false belief and reality. Okay. And that wherever reality enters, the false belief tends to sink into its native nothingness. Jesus understood this. Hence, he told his disciples when they prayed to affirm the divine presence, to recognize it and unify with it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. A recognition that the kingdom is come. Great souls have listened to the Spirit. They have lived the good life of the Spirit, and the illumination of their consciousness has been a beacon light to future civilizations. Prayer starts with this identification, this recognition of the divine presence, overdwelling and indwelling. Okay. Blah. It is no longer my human will, but thy divine will. True prayer does not affirm. Wait, what? True prayer does not affirm, I will do this, I will do thus, and so. Who, by affirming that black is white, will change its color? We cannot expect any prayer to be answered if its answer requires the denial of any law or contradiction of the true nature of the divine being. But we can and should expect an answer to any prayer which is prayed in accord with the nature of reality. Right? In such prayer, a definite cosmic force is set in motion through our faith, belief, and conviction. It is because of this that the religions of the world have had their power, for with all great religions has come a spiritual conviction, an acceptance of an overshadowing presence, and a desire to enter into harmony with it. Religion is not a thing of itself, but is an approach to the thing itself. Well, not, okay. The infinite does not contend with anyone or against anyone. How seldom, then, are our prayers in accord with its nature? We do not know the possibilities of divine law, nor should we feel discouraged if we do not ourselves measure up to our highest sense of its possibilities. but we should learn to have faith and to accept a continuously expanding good. By certain laws of our own nature, we may be limited and bound. By a greater understanding of these same laws, we are free. The first steam-driven ship to cross the ocean carried in her hold a book written by the scientific people of the day, explaining just why it was that a boat could not be driven by steam. We do not know the possibilities of humanity, and while we cannot believe that prayer will change the divine nature, we can believe, without violating our intelligence, that prayer might awaken a deeper divinity, a greater possibility, and bring into our experience a greater good. But the only evidence we have of our faith and its validity is in the result obtained. Okay, I think he's kind of getting to the point. The title is You Live Your Ideas, and he's kind of been dancing around the point, and I think now he's trying to get to it. I'm sorry that I'm struggling a bit with my voice. We just hit that awkward part in the season where my allergies are a bit, okay. Whew, all right. Okay. But the only evidence we have of our faith and its validity is the results obtained. So I think we're finally getting to the point. He's been kind of all over the map in this article. This one has been very confusing for me. We do not have to say that people are not sick in order to effectively give a spiritual mind treatment for their recovery. But how can we doubt that there is a power inherent within all people to heal? How can we place any limitation on its capacity or willingness to act on our behalf? The contemplation of the divine life awakening within us is a recognition of and a receptivity to its influx. Is the greatest single curative agency known to the mind of humanity. Okay. All right, Ernest. I hate this article so far. He just keeps jumping tracks on me, and I know where he's going, but he keeps jumping tracks to get there, and I don't like it. We do not know what the energies of mind and spirit are. We do not even know what consciousness is. Causation will not stand too close to an intellectual scrutiny. It avoids the issue and, remaining true to its own nature, argues with no person. All we can say of it is, that the impulse of the creative genius starts in pure intelligence. We must inevitably conclude that consciousness is back of all that lives seems to be self-evident. I'm starting to suspect this was a really early article before he got really good at writing these, because God bless, I don't like this one. That the universal creative mind projects itself upon the screen of its own experience through the contemplation of itself, I accept. That a person is of like nature to this mind is the teaching of the great of the earth. Okay. Why then should not a person of the perception and spiritual intuition, which Jesus had, living as he did in harmony with the universe, declare that all things are possible to them who believe, if their belief is a true belief and in accord with the universal purposes. Laying aside all the differences of opinion, all theological controversy, and all philosophical abstraction, and coming down to the simplicity of the thing, we must learn to believe, to have faith, and to accept, knowing that as we do this, we are entering into that power which is not bound by any existing circumstances or conditions whatsoever. We should learn to identify ourselves with right action, with pure life, with perfect intelligence, to identify ourselves with good, and to contemplate right action as now being apparent in our affairs. It matters not what has gone before, for if we introduce a higher state of consciousness, it will be made manifest in our affairs. Well did Tennyson say that more things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. Prayer contradicts no scientific fact, affirms no impossible state of being, contradicts no law of nature, but rises gently to the comprehension of the divine presence as an agency of good, of right action, and of immediate availability. It is our privilege to prove our faith through our demonstrations. This we shall do through the contemplation in our own minds of the divine presence. Our life is created by our ideas, so in actual practice, we must turn resolutely from the condition which obstructs and contemplate its opposite, affirming the presence of the desired result, even in the midst of confusion, assuring ourselves that the divine presence is the law unto our faith, bringing immediately into our experience the healing of our body, the beautifying of our circumstances, and peace to our minds. Okay. I don't like this article. I don't say that often about Ernest's work, but I don't like this one. And I don't like it simply because, as I said, he keeps jumping tracks. In the last two paragraphs, I think he pulled it out, but the rest of this article was a hot mess, and I don't like it. So, but right there in that last paragraph, he said, our life is created by our ideas. Whatever you believe, you are going to look for confirmation of. That's just the way it is. There could be plenty of evidence contrary to what it is that you believe, but what you are going to find is what you believe. So if you look around your life and you don't like the way it looks, then you need to go back and look at what you actually believe and then change your mind and then start looking for the good that you desire, not what you have been coming up with. So, like I said, I'm not a fan of this article at all. I think the last two paragraphs were really good, but I just feel like he kept jumping tracks to make his point. So, okay. And I don't often say that about Ernest Holmes, but for the most part, I've been really happy reading this book. But that one, nope. I don't ever have to read that article again. And I may grab myself a pencil and make a note of that. So, okay. So, yep, it really does come down to what you believe. It really does come down to what you believe. And his assertion that what prayer is a contemplation of the divine. All right, I can live with it. And now, I'm going to wrap this up and go away because, that article. But I am going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of yourself day. It's okay if the article didn't make sense to you day. Let's wrap this week up day. I know we got one more day. A cuddle your fur babies day, because I got, aggressively snuggled at the beginning of this video by Dante, and now he's asleep in the window. A drink plenty of water day, a get your humidifier out of your box day if your heat's been running a lot day. That was the suggestion from my doctor. Do something good for yourself day, eat something amazing day, go be with some friends today. If you can't be with them, call them or something, have a conversation with a friend today. I don't know what I'm talking about today. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, because apparently it is for me right now, simply have a day. Simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. My favorite part of that sentence. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are godly. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. We were all over the map today. So maybe tomorrow, what are we going to do tomorrow? Think effectively. So hopefully that's a better article tomorrow. Yay! Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.